tonight with that breaking news in Southern California.
We are not out of danger.
And thank you so much for joining us. I'm Laura Painter.
And
that night when we left,
the day started like any other in Altadena, California, where 66-year-old Victor Shaw began his morning as usual. He was at his home where he was living for 55 years and had spent almost his entire life. However, shortly after, first responders found his body on the side of the road near his property, and he was holding a garden hose still in his hand. Mr. Shaw lived in Altadena with his younger sister Shari, who mentioned that she had urged him to evacuate with her on Tuesday night as the fire rapidly approached. She told KTLA that he refused as he was determined to stay back and fight the fire. Shari had no choice but to flee as the flames grew uncontrollable. She said, "The embers were so large, flying like a firestorm." Speaking to CBS News, Shari shared her grief and mentioned that she would deeply miss her big brother. "I'll miss talking to him, sharing jokes, traveling together, and I'll miss him to death. I just hate that he had to leave us this way," she expressed emotionally. On the tragic day of January 7, 2025, Victor Shaw was among more than 25 people who lost their lives in the devastating California wildfire. The relentless fires sweeping through Los Angeles and its surrounding areas have scorched over 40,000 acres, reduced more than 12,000 homes and structures to ash, and claimed at least 25 lives. In today's video, we will discuss the heart-wrenching reasons behind this deadly fire. As the devastation unfolds, one truth stands out. California faces an urgent need to rebuild, not just swiftly, but smarter and stronger. How did a small spark turn into a massive wildfire, destroying thousands of homes and displacing countless families? We will also explore the many conspiracy theories that have emerged across the internet regarding the fire. Additionally, we will examine how some well-intentioned but ultimately hurtful comments made by multimillionaire celebrities have affected the victims. We will also dwell on the severe aftermath of such a massive disaster, which is expected to have long-lasting impacts on the community. The fire broke out around 10:30 a.m. on January 7th on the upscale Pacific Palisades neighborhood, located between Santa Monica and Malibu. Known for its celebrity residents, this area has become one of the hotspots of the ongoing wildfire crisis. We will explore the possible causes behind the wildfires that are currently raging across Los Angeles and Southern California. The wildfires initially sparked in the first week of January and have shown no signs of slowing down. What's striking is their unusual timing. January is typically a cooler month and usually not one associated with such intense fire activity. So let's take a closer look at the key areas most affected by this disaster and the human stories behind the headlines. 1. Pacific Palisades. This luxurious neighborhood has faced severe devastation, making it one of the hardest hit areas. 2. Hollywood Hills. Another affluent location, the fires have spread dangerously close to iconic sites near Hollywood Boulevard that are forcing evacuations from both massive mansions and modest apartments. 3. Pasadena. Particularly in the northern regions, this area has experienced significant damage due to the relentless blazes. 4. Brentwood. The Palisades fire has also crept into Brentwood, yet another prestigious LA neighborhood. 5. San Fernando Valley. While this region hasn't been as severely impacted as the others, minor fires have still ignited, adding to the widespread concern. These wildfires are reshaping the landscape and lives of those in Southern California, leaving many to wonder about the underlying causes and the steps needed to prevent such tragedies in the future. While the actual cause of the fire is yet to be discovered, let's look at possible origins of the fire according to the U.S. Today. The Pacific Palisades. On Tuesday, January 7, the Palisades fire broke out quickly and escalated into a catastrophic event. The fire was fueled by fierce Santa Ana winds, and the blaze spread at an alarming pace. This fire engulfed nearly 3,000 acres within 24 hours and triggered urgent evacuations. Over the next week, the fire left a devastating mark and destroyed thousands of structures. This fire earned the grim title of the most destructive wildfire in Los Angeles history. Authorities have yet to determine the exact cause of the fire, but recent investigations have zeroed in on a ridgeline in western Los Angeles. It is a favorite spot among hikers for its scenic views of the Pacific Ocean and the upscale Pacific Palisades area. Interestingly, just days earlier on New Year's Day, the same location saw an 8-acre wildfire sparked by fireworks. Although that fire was swiftly contained by the Los Angeles Fire Department without causing damage or injuries, it raised concerns about lingering risks. CAL FIRE has long cautioned residents that even controlled wildfires can reignite, underscoring the persistent danger during fire season. CAL FIRE issued a warning in July, stating, "The areas within the fire scar can smolder and reignite weeks later," emphasizing the importance of respecting roadblocks and safety perimeters. Whether the earlier New Year's Day fire is linked to the catastrophic Palisades fire remains uncertain. However, the scale of the disaster is staggering. The Eden Fire. The Eden Fire has ravaged more than 14,000 acres since it ignited on January 7, leaving behind a trail of destruction in Altadena's historic neighborhood and parts of Pasadena. Tragically, the blaze has been linked to the deaths of at least 17 people, making it one of the deadliest fires in the region. While fire officials have yet to announce the official cause, several lawsuits claim that Southern California Edison, the region's largest utility provider, may be to blame. These lawsuits allege the fire began near one of SCE's utility towers. This was supported by eyewitness accounts and data suggesting electrical grid disturbances occurred just before the blaze. SCE has pushed back against these claims, stating in a safety report to investors that no operational anomalies were recorded on its transmission lines until after the fire began. However, the utility acknowledged that attorneys representing insurance companies have requested it to preserve certain equipment that could be tied to the fire as investigations continue. The Hearst Fire, which ignited on January 7, has scorched nearly 800 acres in the northern San Fernando Valley, close to the city of Sylmar. The cause of the fire remains under investigation, with CAL FIRE yet to release any findings. Southern California Edison confirmed that fire officials are examining whether its equipment played a role in starting the blaze. A downed power line was discovered near the fire's point of origin, but the utility has stated it is unclear when the line was knocked down. The company said in a statement, as investigations continue, that SCE does not know whether the damage observed occurred before or after the start of the fire. The actual reason is not known to anyone, but if we consider it from the perspective of wildfire and natural disasters, any fire needs 3 things to burn: fuel, heat, and oxygen. One common cause of fires is lightning, which is the most frequent reason for wildfires in the US. However, investigators quickly ruled out lightning as the cause of the recent fires. Without this key factor, the electrical charge from lightning wouldn't likely result in flames. Instead, the possible actual reason could be spontaneous heating. So let's learn more about this concept. Organic materials can ignite spontaneously, which is very rare. This occurs because of high temperature and pressure generated in decomposing material. Bacteria and microorganisms break down these materials, and the heat is released along with gases such as methane, carbon dioxide, or even ammonia, depending on the composition. When this heat cannot escape, the temperature can eventually build up to the point where it can ignite a fire. For both natural and human-induced wildfires, the 2 factors are dryness and wind. Dry conditions make vegetation brittle and very flammable, and it is wind that acts as a transporter of flames across large distances. In combination, these factors create the perfect wildfire scenario. Los Angeles is a city within the state of California. What is interesting is that California lies at roughly the same latitude as the Mediterranean Sea, therefore having a Mediterranean climate. In these places, summers are typically dry and winters moist. But if winters are moist, why do fires happen in January? The answer is in California's peculiar climate patterns. Normally, the rainy season starts in October. For October 2024, the rainfall was quite minimal, thus moisture levels were low. In contrast, the rainy seasons of 2022 and 2023 were more substantial, allowing for the growth of lush vegetation. This thick vegetation dried up quickly in early 2024, becoming the ideal fuel for wildfires. Understanding these patterns is important for predicting and mitigating the risks of wildfires in places like California. The second cause is the wind, which spreads the fire. These winds, known as Santa Ana winds, occur at certain times of the year. California, being a state near the Pacific Ocean, usually experiences moist winds that bring rain. Santa Ana winds are warm, dry, katabatic winds that blow from the inland desert areas, like the Great Basin region in Nevada, toward the coast during fall and early winter. Deserts like the Great Basin can have different air pressures depending on the season. In summer, the desert gets very hot, so the air rises, creating low pressure. But in fall and winter, the desert cools down quickly and makes the air heavy and dense. This creates high pressure. High pressure air pushes toward low pressure areas, like the Pacific coast. The Great Basin sits higher than the coastal areas, so as the air moves downhill, it gets squeezed by the increasing pressure near the coast. This squeezing heats the air and dries it out even more. This process, known as adiabatic heating, results in the Santa Ana winds being hot, dry, and fast. These winds blow through Southern California, drying out plants and turning them into tinder for wildfires. Because these winds move quickly and are very dry, they help fires spread over large areas. That's why they're often called fire starters. So the dry plants in the Santa Ana winds prepare the conditions for wildfires. The fire itself can start in different ways, like human activities or other causes. But when the dry plants and winds come together, wildfires can spread very quickly. Is climate change the actual reason for the fire? Strong winds and very little rain have been feeding these intense wildfires. But experts note that climate change is the deeper systemic factor that is driving this phenomenon. These factors reshape environmental conditions and ratchet up the chances for such catastrophic events to occur. The western United States, including California, has recently come out of a decades-long drought. While the drought was technically over 2 years ago, its legacy persists, which makes the region highly susceptible to fires. In the past few years, erratic switches between extreme dryness and heavy rainfall have brought about what experts call climate whiplash, which made things worse. These sudden oscillations have produced copious amounts of bone-dry vegetation, which is a perfect fuel source for flames. The federal research draws a direct line between climate change and the increasing intensity and scale of wildfires in the region. The National Oceanic and Atmospheric Administration underlines this link, noting higher temperatures, prolonged droughts, and a moisture-starved atmosphere as primary factors driving the wildfire crisis. Traditionally, the fire season in Southern California would run from May through October. However, Governor Gavin Newsom has said that wildfires are no longer confined to specific months. He said, "It's not a fire season anymore, it's a fire year." No matter how many catastrophic events occur or how much trouble people face, some individuals on the internet can't resist creating absurd conspiracy theories. Some of these theories are so outlandish that they defy imagination. One such theory is the Diddy conspiracy. Catherine Austin Fitts, a former investment banker and Assistant Secretary of Housing and Urban Development, has stirred controversy by raising questions about the Southern California wildfires and their possible connections to external factors. Speaking on her podcast, Fitts suggested that the fires might have been deliberately induced, possibly through advanced technologies or coordinated efforts, though she acknowledged uncertainty about the specifics. She also linked the events to broader patterns of alleged cover-ups, including claims about pedophilia rings. Fitz questioned the connection between the fires and individuals allegedly associated with Sean Diddy Combs. He is currently detained at the Brooklyn Metropolitan Detention Center on charges of sex trafficking, racketeering, and related offenses. While no evidence has been presented to support these claims, some online theorists have speculated that the fires were an attempt to destroy evidence tied to the case, including rumors of so-called Diddy tunnels. These allegations, including the suggestion that drought and mismanagement were intentionally coordinated factors, remain unsubstantiated. Mainstream experts and investigators have found no credible evidence linking the wildfires to any deliberate conspiracy or to Combs' ongoing legal battles. The second conspiracy theory is about directed energy weapons resurface. False claims about directed energy weapons have re-emerged, fueled by misleading videos suggesting that these advanced technologies were used to ignite recent wildfires. The conspiracy alleges that governments or shadowy organizations deploy lasers or microwave systems to deliberately start fires. Experts have consistently debunked these theories and explained that irregular burn patterns result from natural elements such as wind, terrain, and vegetation. While the U.S. has developed DEWs for military purposes, primarily for disabling drones or missiles, there is no credible evidence that such weapons have been used in civilian areas or to start wildfires. This theory isn't new. It gained traction during the 2018 California wildfires when Republican Marjorie Taylor Greene speculated in a now-deleted post that lasers from space might be to blame. Similar claims spread during the Canadian and Maui wildfires in 2023, as well as the Texas Smokehouse Creek wildfire in 2024. Joseph Yazinski, co-author of American Conspiracy Theory, said, "Most people dismiss these theories because they don't align with their worldview. But there are individuals who interpret the world through a conspiratorial lens." The third claim spreading across the internet is man-made weather manipulation persistent. Speculation that the government could geoengineer rain to combat natural disasters such as the Los Angeles wildfires has gained traction online. These claims are part of a broader conspiracy theory that suggests governments can control the weather. Theories of weather manipulation often resurface after major disasters, including Hurricanes Helene and Milton. However, meteorologists and agencies like the National Oceanic and Atmospheric Administration have repeatedly debunked such claims. Jeff Dancy, a political science professor at the University of Toronto, in an interview with CBS News said, "People blame the government or company executives because it's easier than addressing structural problems like drought conditions. This explanation appeals to those seeking order in the chaos of catastrophe." Cloud seeding, a legitimate weather modification technique, is sometimes cited in these claims. However, the U.S. Government Accountability Office noted in a December report that cloud seeding efforts are limited to at least 9 states, primarily funded at state or local levels, with minimal federal involvement. According to Katja Friedrich, a cloud physics expert and professor at the University of Colorado Boulder, cloud seeding in the Los Angeles area would require a higher level of moisture in the atmosphere to be effective. Friedrich explained to PolitiFact that the atmosphere around LA is currently too dry, with insufficient water vapor to condense. Another conspiracy theory circulating on social media claims that the Southern California wildfires were intentionally started to clear land for smart cities aligned with the United Nations sustainability goals. However, this claim is unfounded. While the UN's agenda to reduce global emissions includes promoting sustainable urban development, there is no evidence linking these goals to wildfire-related land clearance. In Los Angeles, the Smart LA 2028 initiative focuses on improving transportation systems and adopting technological innovations to make the city greener. It does not involve large-scale demolition or rebuilding efforts. This conspiracy theory gained traction after the Maui wildfires, when a video of Hawaii's governor was misrepresented and shared out of context to support the baseless idea that the state planned to build a smart city on the burned land. Similar claims were also debunked following wildfires in Canada and Spain's Canary Islands. After the fire, another problem that needs to be addressed is the shortage of water in California. Emergency crews have found themselves in a tough spot where fire hydrants across the city have been running dry. According to LA Mayor Karen Bass, at one point, as many as 20% of them were out of water. This begs the question, with the Pacific Ocean right there, why not use seawater to fight the flames? While it might seem like a no-brainer, the idea comes with complications. Sure, salt water can extinguish fires just like fresh water, but it leaves behind some serious environmental baggage. Tim Chavez, a retired fire analyst, points out that salt can ruin soil, which makes it infertile and unsuitable for vegetation or crops. Plus, the city's water systems aren't built to handle firefighting on this scale, let alone with salt water. And there's another issue, that salt water is tough on equipment. Fire hoses, tanks, and pumps are all designed for fresh water. These equipment corrode much faster when exposed to salt. Despite these challenges, LA County firefighters haven't ruled it out entirely. Specialized aircraft called Super Scoopers are equipped to handle salt water and have been put to work. These planes can pick up and dump as much as 1,600 gallons of ocean water at a time. But even this isn't without its own hurdles. Strong Santa Ana winds make aerial firefighting a delicate operation. That requires pilots to drop water with pinpoint accuracy while avoiding damage to nearby buildings and vehicles. Meanwhile, other aircrafts, including Firehawks and air tankers, continue to battle the flames using fresh water. Once the Palisades fire is under control, those resources may be shifted to tackle other fires blazing across Southern California. This shortage of water has triggered a public discussion on the environmental implications of ChatGPT and other related artificial intelligence technologies using social media. Artist and activist Mark Bernstein, who shared a very viral Instagram post, wrote, "Somewhere, the men who build AI chatbots are picking out the interiors of the rocket ships they'll use to escape Earth, leaving the rest of us to burn." He also emphasized how much energy is used in running AI. While one query with ChatGPT uses 10 times more energy than a Google search, training an AI model requires as much carbon dioxide as 300 round trips between New York and San Francisco, or equivalent to 5 car lifetimes of emissions. While some social media users hypothesize that these AI technologies were somehow connected to the fires in Los Angeles, the dry hydrants in Pacific Palisades were a result of overwhelming demand for water. Municipal water systems are not designed to keep up with the rapid and widespread nature of fires, like those currently affecting the area. With these theories and blame-shifting games, the very important thing is to help people who are affected. When will this fire stop? Well, according to CAL FIRE Information Officer Scotty McLean, there is no one-size-fits-all answer to how long it takes to extinguish a wildfire. Factors like fuel type, terrain, and weather all play a role. Fire crews focus on fully dousing the flames before moving on and ensuring that no hotspots remain that could flare up into new fires. Wind, in particular, is a game changer. Flying embers can reignite fires that seemed under control. Jim Menakis, a fire ecology expert with the Forest Service, notes that the Los Angeles fires are unlikely to drag on for months due to their partial containment within a defined area. However, the winds need to calm down significantly before crews can fully declare victory. The next thing is the problem with insurance and wildfires. The wildfires raging across California have forced over 180,000 people to flee their homes, with an additional 200,000 under evacuation warnings. Amidst all these difficulties, the victims' insurance claims have also turned out to be nothing short of a nightmare. As the crisis unfolds, more than 1.5 million residents are without power, and the destruction has claimed at least 27 lives, leaving many others severely injured. The relentless 100-mile-per-hour winds are fueling the flames, wiping entire neighborhoods off the map and overwhelming thousands of firefighters battling to contain the inferno. Because wildfires in California have become more frequent and severe, insurance companies are finding it risky and expensive to cover homes in areas prone to fires. Some companies have even stopped offering new insurance policies in these high-risk zones. In recent years, California has become a cautionary tale for how climate-driven disasters can upend an insurance market. After the catastrophic wildfires of 2017 and 2018, insurers began pulling out of the state and dropping policies in fire-prone areas and hiking premiums by double-digit percentages. Homeowners, already reeling from the risks, faced skyrocketing costs or found themselves uninsurable altogether. State officials had avoided solving the insurance crisis until now. In December, after over a year of planning, California Insurance Commissioner Ricardo Lara announced major changes to fix the problem. He called it a historic moment and said the reforms were shaped with input from thousands of people. These new rules, starting this year, aim to protect homeowners while preparing for more climate-related disasters. But will these changes be enough to get insurance companies back and help homeowners? And who will end up paying for the growing wildfire risks? These questions will decide California's future. After months of debate, California introduced new rules to fix its struggling insurance market. The biggest change? Insurance companies must cover more homes in fire-prone areas, like scrublands and mountain regions, where insurance is hard to get and very expensive. The new rule requires companies to cover nearly as much of these high-risk areas as they do in the rest of the state. For example, if a company has 10% of the state's insurance market, it must cover at least 8.5% of the fire-prone zones. This targets major companies like State Farm and Allstate, which have stopped covering some high-risk areas, such as the northern mountain regions. While this rule aims to provide relief for homeowners abandoned by insurers, it's not without controversy. Residents in these areas worry that the increased availability of policies may come with a catch: skyrocketing premiums. With insurers now having greater freedom to raise prices, the financial strain on homeowners in these high-risk regions could worsen. So what exactly is the California Fair Plan? To help people who can't get insurance from regular companies, California has a special program called the Fair Plan. It's a state-run insurance option for those who can't find coverage elsewhere. However, this plan can be more expensive and might not cover as much as regular insurance policies. As California grapples with a balance between accessibility and affordability, one thing is clear: the stakes are as high as the flames themselves. Now let's look at what is really going on in Hollywood. While ordinary people in California are hunting for ways to survive after losing everything, some multimillionaire celebrities are further hurting those suffering from their inhumane and irrational behavior. Actor and musician Mandy Moore is just one of the many celebrities who were similarly affected by the fresh wildfire in Altadena, California. When she returned to her neighborhood, she posted heartbreaking pictures showing the devastation. The smoke haze from the fire cast a yellowish color over the whole scene. In the pictures, debris, burnt trees, and a crumbling exterior staircase were shown. In her captions, Moore mentioned that she lost many important things such as her husband's studio and instruments, her children's school, and the home of her brother-in-law and his wife, who are soon to be first-time parents. But when she shared a GoFundMe link to support her family members who lost their home in the fires, Moore faced criticism due to her millionaire status. Critics questioned why she was soliciting public donations instead of funding the recovery herself. One of the comments on this post says, "You're worth like $14 million. A GoFundMe is insane." To this, Moore allegedly showed no remorse, and later in a post she wrote, "We just lost most of our life in a fire too. Kindly fuck off. No one is forcing you to do anything." She later deleted both the GoFundMe link and the fuck off comment. More responded to the backlash, defending her decision to share the fundraiser. Now let's talk about reality TV star Drea Michelle, perhaps best known for Basketball Wives LA. Michelle determined that the wildfires are the perfect time to get the word out about an air purifier. She posted an Instagram video showing how she set up a sleek air purifier in her home with a caption referencing the poor air quality from the fires and how the purifier was keeping her family safe. She even threw in a discount code for her followers. However, rather than receiving accolades, she was met with backlash. Her comments were bombarded by critics, who pointed out the stark reality that victims of the wildfires lost their homes and could not use such a product. While Kylie Jenner and her boyfriend Timothée Chalamet were out of town vacationing in Paris, her company Kylie Cosmetics was donating beauty products to help out in the relief efforts. Critics attacked the move as inadequate and hypocritical since she was absent in Los Angeles at the time. Social media had a lot to say regarding the donation. It was criticized as being in poor timing. Some of them even stated that she should have been actively participating in the relief efforts instead. Khloe Kardashian also faced backlash for her insensitive response to the fires. She posted on Instagram labeling Los Angeles Mayor Karen Bass a joke over the fires, which led to the criticism of the Kardashian family for their past water usage violations during droughts. Actress Yvette Nicole Brown was among those who called out Kardashian's comments. Rapper Lil' Kim also received criticism for her tweet about the wildfires. Been sending strong prayers for LA and everyone affected by the fires. This is heartbreaking. I pray to Jesus that God makes it a monsoon in LA. Many users criticized her word choice, stating that a monsoon could cause mudslides and flooding. Lil' Kim defended her statement, clarifying that she meant she wished for rain to help fight the fires. However, her clarification did little to quell the concerns of some fans, who pointed out the potential for heavy rains to cause additional damage after wildfires. On the other hand, after the devastating January 2025 wildfires happened in California, many celebrities have given generously to contribute to relief efforts. Beyoncé had contributed $2.5 million through her Be Good Foundation to help the families and centers affected by the fires. The Weeknd donated $1 million to the Los Angeles Fire Department Foundation and the LA Regional Food Bank for distribution. Leonardo DiCaprio committed $1 million via ReWild's Rapid Response Program to wildland fire support initiatives. Jamie Lee Curtis granted $1 million from her foundation to help benefit response efforts. Taylor Swift made direct contributions to many local funds and charities, including 211 LA and California Community Foundation Relief, and the contributions were not announced. Eva Longoria donated the $1 million prize money for her Bezos Courage and Civility Award to contribute to the relief operations. Paris Hilton set up a personal account and offered the public to contribute funds, matched contribution to aid fire victims. Jennifer Garner dished out volunteer time for fire relief efforts. Prince Harry and Meghan Markle spent volunteer time dispensing foodstuff at a food distribution center. Metallica contributed $500,000 via the nonprofit they maintain to help firefighting efforts as well as residents affected by them. Mark Zuckerberg posted on his network and provided donations, creating or participating in crowdfunding sources that held supply drives. Organizers announced a star-studded lineup of performers, including Billie Eilish, Red Hot Chili Peppers, and Joni Mitchell, who took the stage at a benefit event last month for wildfire recovery and relief. To support relief and recovery efforts following the deadly wildfires in the Los Angeles area, a concert was held on January 30. Additionally, Selena Gomez and her fiancé, Benny Blanco, were photographed feeding first responders battling the wildfires. Tragically, some celebrities have lost their homes as a result of the California wildfires. Those affected include Joshua Jackson. The actor, known for his role in the series Dr. Odyssey, shared that they have lost their house, but family and neighbors are safe. Milo Ventimiglia. The star of This Is Us is among those whose homes have caught fire. Mel Gibson. The actor and director's Malibu home was among those consumed by the fires. Spencer Pratt and Heidi Montag. The reality TV couple's home was lost, displacing them. Candy Spelling. Tori Spelling's mother lost her Malibu mansion in the wildfires. Eugene Levy. The actor said his home was among those lost. Sandra Lee. The chef and television personality said that her Malibu home was destroyed in the wildfires. Bella Hadid. The model shared that her childhood home was lost in the blazes. Ryan O'Neal. Tatum O'Neal, his daughter, reports that the actor's home was destroyed. Barbara Corcoran. Her home was also among those lost in the fire, as she is a businesswoman and TV personality. Janae Aiko. Her home was also lost in the wildfires. Jeff Bridges. The actor's home was also among those destroyed. Adam Brody and Leighton Meester. The actors share a home, which was destroyed in the fires. Carrie Elwes. The actor's home was among those destroyed. John Goodman. The actor's residence was lost in the wildfires. Ed Harris. The actor's home was among those destroyed. Paris Hilton. The socialite and businesswoman's residence was lost in the fires. Anthony Hopkins. The actor's home was among those destroyed. Ricky Lake. The television host's residence was lost in the wildfires. Cameron Matheson. The actor's house was part of the houses destroyed. Mandy Moore. The singer and actress' house was burned down in the fires. Brad Paisley. The country singer's house was part of the houses destroyed. John C. Reilly. The actor's house was burnt down in the wildfires. Kobe Smulders and Taran Killam. The two actors shared a house that got destroyed. Miles Teller. The actor's house got burnt down in the fires. Songwriter Diane Warren. The songwriting community also suffered damage. The songwriter's house among them was destroyed. Actor James Woods initially feared the worst after flames swept through Los Angeles' Pacific Palisades, destroying so much of their neighborhood. It was only a closer look around that he found he'd escaped. Woods described the damage to his house as miraculous. Despite the surrounding smoke and fire damage, his property still stands amidst widespread destruction. This wildfire is considered the most expensive disaster in U.S. history. As of January 18, 2025, Southern California is grappling with several major wildfires, including the Palisades and Eaton fires. The Palisades fire has burnt approximately 23,713 acres in Pacific Palisades, destroying more than 3,797 structures and resulting in 8 confirmed fatalities. The Eaton fire has burned around 14,117 acres in Altadena and Pasadena, destroying over 8,690 structures and causing 16 confirmed deaths. Containment efforts have seen some improvement by firefighters. By January 17, the Palisades fire was 27% contained, the Eaton fire was 55% contained, and the Otto fire was 85% contained. However, the Santa Ana winds remain a threat and are likely to reignite fires. Thousands of evacuees will not be allowed to return home for at least another week. The destruction left behind by these wildfires is devastating. The combined destruction of over 12,000 structures has put an immediate high demand on lumber, with estimates indicating between 10,000 and 20,000 truckloads of lumber to be required for reconstruction. Moreover, the death toll is at 27. The count of missing people is at 31. The air quality has improved slightly, but new threats persist until significant rain falls in the region. The path to full containment and recovery remains uncertain and heavily depends on weather conditions and firefighting efforts. Given these factors, it's challenging to predict an exact date when the fires will be fully extinguished. Firefighters are working diligently to contain the blazes, but weather conditions and the fire's behavior can influence the timeline. Residents are advised to stay informed through official channels for updates on containment progress and safety guidelines. The information in this video is sourced from authentic resources, all of which are credited in the description below. Be sure to check them out for deeper insights and extra details. Thank you for tuning in. If you found this video informative, please give it a thumbs up. Thanks for watching, and see you soon in the next one.